Okay, so you want to own a car wash. Buy a strip of land on a busy road, put up a tunnel, and watch cars roll through all day paying you 5, 10, $30 a pop, plus a monthly membership fee on top of that. It sounds like one of the simplest businesses on earth. No inventory to stock, no complicated product, just water, soap, and a conveyor belt. And for a while, that simplicity convinced some of the smartest money in the country that car washes were the next great real estate play. Then several of the biggest names in the industry nearly collapsed under their own debt. The story of how a car wash actually makes money and how the same industry can build itself into a bubble is a much stranger story than it looks from the driver's seat. Before you make a single dollar, you need to survive building the thing. A modern express car wash isn't the mom-and-pop hand wash bay you're picturing. The industry has shifted hard toward what's called the express tunnel model, a fully automated conveyor system that can run a car through a wash cycle in about 3 to 5 minutes. Building one of these from scratch, buying the land, pouring the tunnel, installing the equipment, the reclaimed water systems, the vacuums, the signage, typically runs somewhere between $3.5 million and $10 million depending on land cost and market. That's before you've washed a single car. And that number has been climbing, not falling, as more operators compete for the same handful of high-traffic corners in every city. Location is almost everything in this business. You need heavy daily car counts, easy in and out access, and visibility from the road, which means the best sites are also the most expensive sites. And everyone building a car wash chain right now is trying to grab the same short list of corners before a competitor does. If building from scratch feels too expensive, you can buy an existing wash, and this is where the industry has changed the most in the last few years. Car washes used to be one of the most fragmented businesses in America. Thousands of small independent operators, mostly older full-service washes with an attendant vacuuming your mats by hand. That model has been collapsing. Full-service washes have fallen from roughly 80% of the market share down to somewhere around 15%, while express tunnels have gone from almost nothing to controlling more than half of the entire North American car wash market in about 15 years. That shift didn't happen naturally. It happened because private equity firms realized a car wash with a strong membership program throws off cash flow that looks a lot like a subscription software company. And subscription software companies get valued at enormous multiples. So the money poured in. Billions of dollars flowed into acquiring small, independent washes and rolling them up into regional and national platforms, all racing to build scale before anyone else did. Here's the part nobody explains when they picture owning a car wash. The entire business is quietly built on getting you to stop paying per visit. A single wash might cost you $10, $15, $25 depending on the tier. That's the visible price tag, but the real profit engine is the unlimited monthly membership, usually priced somewhere around $20 to $40 a month for unlimited washes. Do the math on that for a second. If a member washes their car even 3 or 4 times a month, they're already washing at a steep discount compared to paying per visit. So why would the wash owner want that? Because the goal was never to maximize what you pay per wash. The goal is turning an occasional customer who washes their car once every few months into a subscriber who pays every single month whether they show up or not. Industry data on this is blunt about it. Converting a light user who washes once a quarter into a monthly subscriber can roughly triple that customer's lifetime value to the business. At some of the largest chains in the country, memberships now account for well over half of total revenue, sometimes north of 60%. You are not really buying wash cycles when you own one of these businesses. You are buying a subscription book, and the wash itself is almost the loss leader that gets people to sign up. That subscription math is also exactly what makes the business look so attractive on paper, and exactly what makes it so dangerous to overbuild. Membership revenue is recurring, it's predictable, and unlike a single retail transaction, it keeps arriving whether or not that member's car is dirty that week. To a lender or a private equity buyer, that recurring revenue stream looks bankable in a way most small businesses never do, which is exactly why so much acquisition debt got piled onto this industry so quickly. Now let's talk about what it actually costs to run the thing day to day, because a car wash has expense categories that don't show up in the simple picture at all. Water is the obvious one, and it's not just a utility bill, it's a regulatory issue. States like California now require commercial car washes to reclaim and recycle at least half of the water used in every single wash cycle. That means real equipment, real filtration systems, and real ongoing maintenance, not just a hose and a drain. In drought-prone regions, a wash without a proper reclaim system can be forced to shut down entirely during water restrictions, while a modern reclaim-equipped tunnel keeps running. Chemicals are the next constant cost. The soaps, waxes, and drying agents that have to be replenished every single day regardless of how many cars come through. Then there's equipment maintenance on a conveyor system running almost continuously. Belts, rollers, high-pressure pumps, dryers, all of it wearing down under daily use and needing service contracts that add up fast. And unlike a mall or an office building, a car wash generates essentially no revenue during a closure. If the tunnel goes down for repairs or a hard freeze shuts the whole site for a few days, that's not lost efficiency. That's a hole in the month's revenue that never gets recovered. Then there's the cost that catches almost every operator off guard: conversion and cannibalization. A huge share of the acquisition boom in this industry wasn't building new washes. It was buying old full-service or basic exterior-only washes and converting them into express tunnels. That conversion alone typically costs around $3 million per site, and it takes 12 to 18 months of construction and ramp-up time, during which that location generates little to no revenue at all while still carrying its debt payments. And here's the trap hiding underneath all that expansion. Every time a chain opens a new express tunnel near one of its own existing washes to grab more corners, it doesn't just compete with the independent wash down the street. It starts cannibalizing its own membership base, because a subscriber that drives past a brand new company-owned tunnel every day is very likely to just switch which location they use, rather than add a second membership. Growth that looks like more locations and more revenue on a map can quietly be redistributing the same customers across more expensive real estate, not creating new ones. This is the structural risk running through the entire modern car wash industry, and it's best explained through something that actually happened. Private equity money poured into this sector aggressively starting around 2020, with well over $700 million flowing into car wash acquisitions in a single recent year alone. Chains raced to buy up independents and build new tunnels, financing much of that growth with debt, betting that membership revenue would keep climbing fast enough to service it. For a few years, it worked. Then interest rates rose, construction costs rose, and the same handful of good corners in every metro area started filling up with competing tunnels from different chains, splitting the customer base that used to support one wash per neighborhood. One of the largest platforms built through this exact strategy, Zip's Car Wash, expanded to more than 260 locations on the back of acquisition debt. By February of 2025, Zips filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy carrying roughly $654 million in debt, and according to court filings, the company had only about $1 million in cash on hand at the time. 260 locations, over $500 million owed, and barely enough cash to cover a single week of payroll. That's not a company that ran out of customers. Cars were still driving through those tunnels every day. It's a company that built its entire structure on the assumption that recurring membership revenue would always outrun the debt taken on to acquire the next site. And the moment that assumption broke, the whole platform buckled at once. Keep that in mind if you ever think a full parking lot means a safe business. A busy tunnel with a line of cars waiting can be sitting on top of a balance sheet that's already underwater. Because the thing that actually determines whether a car wash survives isn't how many cars come through this week. It's whether the debt used to build or buy the location was sized to a growth rate the market could actually sustain once every good corner in town already has a competitor on it. That same overbuilding pressure is now reshaping the entire industry in real time. Analysts tracking the sector have noted that merger and acquisition activity in car washes dropped sharply, down roughly 46% year over year at one point, as private equity firms that poured money in during 2020 through 2022 approach the end of their typical hold periods and need to actually exit these investments rather than keep acquiring. That creates an unusual squeeze. Platforms still need to keep growing to look attractive for a sale or a bigger buyout, but lenders, having watched what happened with Zips, have gotten noticeably more cautious about financing highly leveraged car wash deals. The result is a market where the strongest independent operators, ones with clean financials and loyal membership bases, are actually in a favorable position to sell at healthy prices, while over-leveraged platforms racing purely for scale are the ones at risk of becoming the next cautionary tale. So does owning a car wash actually work as a business? The honest answer, like almost everything in this industry right now, depends entirely on how it was financed and where it sits. In the optimistic scenario, you own a well-located tunnel on a high-traffic corner with little direct competition nearby, a strong reclaimed water system that keeps you compliant no matter what the drought restrictions look like that year, and a healthy base of monthly subscribers who've made washing there a habit rather than a once-in-a-while errand. In that version, membership revenue rolls in every month like clockwork. Chemical and labor costs stay a small, predictable slice of revenue since the tunnel itself does most of the work, and the site can throw off strong, stable cash flow for years, which is exactly the version that convinced private equity this industry was worth billions in the first place. In the realistic bad year scenario, a competing chain builds a new express tunnel 2 miles down the same road, and a meaningful chunk of your subscriber base quietly switches over because loyalty to a car wash membership is thin at best. Your revenue dips just as a hard freeze knocks your tunnel offline for a week, and your equipment maintenance bills come due regardless. Meanwhile, the debt taken on to build or acquire the site in the first place doesn't care that traffic is down this quarter, and if that debt was sized aggressively during the boom years, the gap between what the site earns and what it owes starts widening every month rather than closing. The building doesn't change in either scenario. The tunnel, the vacuums, the sign out front, all of it looks identical from the road. What changes is the math running quietly underneath it, the ratio of debt to subscribers, and how much of that recurring revenue was ever really there to support the price that got paid for the business in the first place. A car wash looks, from the driver's seat, like the simplest transaction in the world. You pull in, water and soap do their job, you pull out clean. From the ownership side, it's actually a bet on foot traffic, water regulation, debt discipline, and whether the corner down the street stays empty. The wash isn't really the business. The subscription list is the business, and the moment that list stops growing faster than the debt used to build the tunnel, the whole thing turns from a cash machine into a very expensive parking lot. If you enjoy videos like this and want to see more fascinating topics, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications.